We just spent 29 days in Quito, Ecuador. We stayed in as many as 3 hotels, and what we learned is status pays off. We'll give you all the budget details. Stay tuned.
Hello, we're the Pottages, and we're not home right now.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Dawn.
And we are in Lima, Peru, talking about our budget from Quito, Ecuador.
What did it cost to get to Quito, Ecuador? We started in Panama. We took an Uber to the airport. It was $22.37.
Our flight went through Bogota on the way to Quito, $492.74 for those tickets, for a total of $515.11. And our pipe dream budget for transit each month is $500, so we were right on that.
For lodging, we stayed at the Park Inn by Radisson. We used 72,000 choice points that we received during our credit card sign up, so it didn't cost us anything.
And we got what we paid for.
Yes, we did.
We have a review of the Park Inn. It doesn't really cover too much about the noise problem, but boy, that place was loud.
It was loud.
And then we moved over to the Holiday Inn Express Quito, which was a delightful experience. We had 2 reservations over there, 12 nights on Dawn's account, 8 nights on my account, and that's how I got 3 from 2. Let's see, that was 20 nights. We spent 205,000 IHG points that we purchased at a half cent per point for a total of $1,025.
So our average nightly cost for hotel was $35.34.
That's a pretty cheap month. Our target that we set for ourselves for spending on lodging is $70 a night, so we did it for roughly half that. Our favorite topic, food. Dining out was only $628.41.
We did do a lot of groceries this month, $174.15.
And meal delivery was $107.46. The total was $910.02, which, if you've been following our budgets, is significantly lower. The thing about Quito is that it's at high elevation, and one of the symptoms of elevation sickness is a lack of appetite, which we definitely had. There were some nights where we just didn't eat dinner. We had breakfast, we had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch, and that was it. We didn't want anything else. So we saved quite a bit of money on eating out.
Our per day expense for food was $31.38.
And we have a target of $40 a day, so we easily skated underneath that.
For transportation, we don't typically get a car, so there was no car rental expense.
We spent $85.32 total on Uber.
And most of that was going to and from the airport.
Incredibly inexpensive. Most times it was $2 or $2.50 or something like that to go across town. So the total for the month was only $85.32 or $294 per day.
For our entertainment, we spent $113.27. We went to the Botanical Garden during the day.
And at night.
Went to Bosque de Luz.
They had a holiday light show there, which was pretty cool. We also did
Mitad del Mundo.
Yeah, the go visit the equator, which actually isn't on the equator. We totally did that. That was great. We saw the yellow painted line, which is nowhere near the actual equator. Retail, 104.38. Most of that was I had to buy all new pants. Turns out that fancy eating leads to a problem in the pants area in that they won't button anymore. So I bought 3 pairs of pants and then some other miscellaneous stuff.
Services, we spent $114.02.
We had our laundry done 3 times in there.
And I think my haircut is in there.
Yeah, there's a haircut. Laundry service is remarkably cheap in Central and South America. It's actually cheaper than it is to do your laundry yourself in most countries. Yeah, it's under $10 to have somebody do your laundry for you. So there aren't even, you can't even find a laundromat because it's so cheap to have somebody do it. Why would you do it yourself?
So our total for this category was $331.67.
and that works out to $11.44 per day. Our infrastructure costs basically now is just our phones and our credit cards. Effective January 1st, we no longer have U.S. health insurance because we don't live in the United States. We are self-insured, and we will probably do a video talking about health insurance and medical care worldwide sometime this year.
So our phone for this time period was $10.42.
And our credit card fees were $72.94, totaling $83.35 for the month. Our standard $2.87 per day for infrastructure.
For one-time expenses, I had 3 months of prescriptions filled. It cost $100.04.
So the summary for 29 days, we just wrapped this up into some lump sum categories. Our life expenses, which is, lodging, food, transportation, just everything day to day, added up to $2,436.
Our transit, which was getting to Ecuador, was $515.
And the one-time extras at the Pharmacia was $100 for a total of $3,051.
That's a cost of $84 per day.
For life. So our assessment of Quito is that on a monthly basis, it costs $2,555 to live the way we lived. Moving on to a philosophical question. Are these budgets informative to anyone? We've seen nomad budget. There are people who are living their best lives, spending $1,500 a month. They're living in hostels. They're hanging out in the rainforest. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not spending any money. And then there are people who are spending so much money that they don't even report their budgets because it's an embarrassing amount of money. And frankly, there's really no upper limit to what you can spend, right? And we've been talking about this a lot in the last month. When we were launching, we looked at a bunch of people's videos and we looked at what they were spending, and it seemed like people were having a fantastic time for about $4,000 a month. To us, that seemed low. It didn't seem practical because our only experience was going on vacation, and you spend $4,000 in a week. And we said, well, there's no way. So we just said, okay, well, let's say you can do it for $4,000 and then give yourself $500 a month to move from country to country, $4,500. Let's just see how we do.
So if we only look at places that we lived for a month, we spent in Bangkok, Thailand, $2,616.
Kuala Lumpur was $2,062.
Panama City, Panama, that was our most expensive, $4,116.
And Quito, Ecuador, $2,660.
So that's an average of $2,864 per month.
Which to us was shockingly cheap. In Panama City, we stayed right downtown in the financial district. We ate in great restaurants. We had, a great place to stay. But 3 out of those 4 countries are less than $2,500 a month. That's a shockingly low amount of money, especially if you can stay in those countries for a long time. If you can stay there for 3 months and cut down your average travel expense, some countries you can stay for 6 months. There are places in the world that are cheaper. You can stay for an entire year just on a passport stamp.
The other thing to consider is how much we spent to travel.
Mm-hmm.
That was $5,967. But we went all the way to Southeast Asia and back to Florida.
Our travel was not efficient. We had some legacy things. We had we had cruises that were already booked. And then at the last minute, we decided to go to Southeast Asia right before our cruise. So we had to go back and forth. And so we spent nearly $6,000, $1,000 a month. So the total average spend was $3,859 per month.
It's still below
$650 less than we thought was an aggressive target. We are not living the most frugal life out here. I mean, we are staying in hotels, which is pretty much the most expensive way to travel. We could get Airbnbs or short-term rentals in condos for half of what we're paying for hotels. For right now, though, we're happy and comfortable staying in hotels for the short term.
like to eat.
Yeah, we eat way too fancy. We know that you can go get street food for $3 or $4 and it's delicious, but we do like sitting in a nice restaurant with a tablecloth and drinking a bottle of wine and all that stuff. So, you know, we could cut our food expense probably by 2/3 without any problem. And again, you know, for the first year, we said that we wanted to change locations roughly once a month so that we could visit a bunch of places and still have it be kind of slow travel. So, you know, more efficient travel paths and also staying in places longer. Is a $3,000 a month budget reasonable? I don't see any reason why not. And, you know, part of the reason for doing this channel is to illustrate that it is affordable to live on the road. It is less expensive than it is to live in the United States when you add in all of your expenses. You know, when you look at somebody's budget that they present online, it is not a reflection of what they can afford. It's not even a reflection of how much money they have coming in every month. You know, you look at, you know, the first channel that we started watching, you know, Grounded Life, you know, they have 20-some thousand dollars a month coming in from YouTube, but they're still holding themselves to a $4,000 a month budget. So, you know, the budget is arbitrary. You have no idea where people's money is coming from. You have no idea whether they are going into debt. You have no idea whether they're depleting their savings. You have no idea whether they're sitting on the giant bag of cash with the dollar sign on it under the bed. You don't know. So don't read too much into the budgets. You know, you can live comfortably abroad with all your travel and everything. We did it on $3,800 a month.
Words are hard.
Yeah.
Because our budget is an arbitrary number that we just pulled out of the air, we are going to continue to track our budget and we're going to reassess. Could we stay in more expensive places? Do we want to eat in fancier restaurants? Do we want to fly first class instead of coach?
First class. You get hot nuts in first class. We're pretty much going to stay the course for our time here in South America. And when we head over to Europe, we know that Europe's going to be a little bit more expensive, but we're going to kind of stay the course for our first year and see if we can meet this budget goal. And then what parts of being frugal and what parts of splurging make sense for us. And then we'll make a new budget for the next year.
If you enjoy our math-filled comment, please consider giving us a... What?
Settle down.
You settle down. If you enjoy our math-filled content, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe.
Comment down below if you think that people's budget videos are of any value. I mean, we're not married to the idea of making these videos. If nobody wants to see them, we just won't make them. It's no big deal. We'll do other videos, like we'll learn dance moves.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's it for the budget nonsense. Until next time, happy travels.